people tend to get upset and they don't really understand.
I think we've been blinded to a lot of this.
It causes some real tension with us.
It causes me lots of pain. It allows me to focus on making something beautiful than focusing on the pain.
It really hurts my feelings. I did have a meltdown the other day.
My name is Farrah Morris. I'm 42, and I have complex regional pain syndrome.
My name is Leah Bergen. I'm 19 years old. I have depression, bipolar disorder, and anxiety.
To be unnoticeably broken means to have a condition that is not visible to all people, if it's a mental condition or a physical condition.
I think being unnoticeably broken means that you know yourself that everything's not okay, but other people can't see that.
I consider myself to be unnoticeably broken because the condition I have affects my nerves. You can't see the damage.
I would consider myself to be unnoticeably broken because there are times where I'm really struggling to do things due to my diagnoses.
When people react to my injury, they test me to see if I'm telling the truth.
I feel like when I tell people about my illness, they don't always take me seriously because I am medicated for it, so sometimes my symptoms aren't always showing. And then when I do have symptoms, they feel like I'm overreacting a lot.
These judgments affect me in a very negative way because I want to be productive in life. I want to have more in life. I did not choose this. I didn't choose to be in pain. It's hard to get people to understand and hear you when they don't understand or don't care to understand because they don't see it.
I'm affected by these judgments that people make without knowing about my mental illness because sometimes they'll say something and I already know all of these things that I do that aren't normal, I guess, for lack of a better word. And they affect me. Like I know that I do them and I know that I'm different from everybody else, and that's hard enough in itself, but when other people point that out, that just makes me feel smaller than I already feel.
The condition I have affects my day-to-day life because it makes it very hard for me to cook or clean house, just do everyday chores.
I feel like in my day-to-day life that this is a problem because sometimes when I'm at work and I mess something up, I'm afraid to go to somebody and be like, hey, I need your help with this because I'm worried that they might be upset with me. And so that causes a lot of anxiety. And I'm worried that people, after the fact, go and talk about me and like, oh my God, I can't believe she doesn't know how to do this.
This injury has had an indirect effect to the people in my life. My son likes to go for walks, and I would love to join him on those walks, but I can't. And sometimes I have to use crutches, and even then, the crutches don't give me but so much relief. Another way that it affects them indirectly is family wants to help you when you're in pain. They don't like to see you in pain, so they start to feel helpless. And that's where, maybe they start throwing take pain meds or something to make you feel better because it hurts them to see you in pain.
My illnesses definitely affect other people in my life. For example, my boyfriend, sometimes I come home and I just pick dumb fights with him. Like, he did the dishes, great, but he didn't do them the way I would have done them. And why didn't he do things this way or that way? Why did he do this but not this? And I feel like I wouldn't do that if I didn't have bipolar disorder. Me and my mom, we both have bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety. So we butt heads a lot because if we're both having mood swings, then sometimes those just coincide.
My life has changed dramatically since the discovery of this condition. Things I used to enjoy doing, going fishing or to the beach, I can't do anymore. My son and I just moved into a trailer, and I have been trying to get it cleaned up organized, and just make it look like a home. And before, I used to be able to do this without a problem.
Before, when I didn't know about my mental illness, I still had those mental illnesses, and I just didn't know why I felt like this. But when I found out about them, I was able to treat them. So that's really helpful, is to be able to know that I still have these things, but not always have the symptoms for them.
I know a couple other people that are also affected by invisible injury. One is my daughter, who has a broken vertebrae. Then I have my son, who has autism. He has Asperger's. And people don't understand him, because when you look at him, you can't tell. Just like with my daughter, you can't look at her and tell that she's got any type of injuries, but people are quick to judge.
I'm lucky enough to have other people in my life that struggle with these same kinds of illnesses or disabilities. I grew up in a family where all of us had problems with mental illness. So luckily I was able to, at a young age, get the support and treatment that I needed. However, some people aren't that lucky. Some parents don't understand. Some families don't care about that their child is sitting around sad all the time. They're like, well, that's just a teenager. But that's not. It's so much more than that, and you do need to be able to get the support from your family especially.
I believe that we can bring awareness to others by just getting out there and letting people know that when they see someone that's parked in a handicapped parking spot, but when they get out, they may be walking upright. They may not be in a wheelchair. They may not have a crutch or a cane. Don't judge them. Just because you can't physically see what they may be suffering from doesn't mean they don't have a disability.
The way our society is set up now, it's so easy to educate others on mental illnesses and other disabilities that people might not notice just from looking at a person. We have social media, we have documentaries. It's so openly spoken about that you can just go up to another person and talk to them about it. And even if they aren't quite as understanding, you can kind of have usually a fairly civil conversation with somebody about how this affects either you or somebody that you know, to help them to better understand and treat others a little bit better when they don't necessarily know what's going on with them.